Well, KOLD News 13 live at 5 starts right now.
It does. Teresa Junn and Dan Morris are joining us now with a look at what's topping our newscast at 5 o'clock. Dan?
Well, Heather and Craig, southern Arizona is facing some dry and windy conditions.
You may have noticed it out there already. Drivers are being warned to watch out for blowing dust. Plus this.
I'm Barbara Grijalva reporting live. Now, the drought in the southwest is not getting any better. What that could mean for cities like Tucson and Phoenix coming up.
And an Arizona State University fraternity is publicly apologizing for a controversial Martin Luther King Jr. party. KOLD News 13 live at 5 starts right now.
Live and high definition. Live, local, late-breaking. This is KOLD News 13 now. Live.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Morris.
And I'm Teresa Junn. Arizona seeing dry and dusty conditions tonight. We have team coverage for you. Lydia Camarillo has the latest on possible blowing dust danger. And our first alert chief meteorologist tracking the latest on the conditions outside this evening.
But first, we go out live to News 13's Barbara Grijalva to tell us about a drought situation happening right here in Arizona. Barb.
Well, of course, we live in a desert where water is particularly precious. Now, Arizona just has not had that much rain this winter, and in fact, January is proving to be practically bone dry, and that is unusual for us, especially down here in the southeastern part of the state. Now, here in Tucson, we do depend on groundwater and the Central Arizona Project. That's Colorado River water. But when you've had drought conditions for several years, more than a decade, something has got to give. This is the latest U.S. drought monitor map. 3 months ago, only 14% of Arizona was in severe drought. Now it's 36%. The gold color shows severe drought, and that does include Tucson and parts of Phoenix. We have had an unusually dry winter. But the situation in California is so much worse, and we do share Colorado River water with that state. Most of California is in red and dark red, meaning extreme drought and worse, exceptional drought. The lack of water from rain and snow has an impact on everything from cities to agriculture to our pocketbooks. Arizona has reservoirs. Here in Tucson, we have water conservation programs. But what's in our future? Will Phoenix and Tucson become ghost towns? We went to CLIMAT's Climate Assessment for the Southwest, where we heard that Phoenix and Tucson are here to stay for a long time, but some things have got to change.
We have to think about things a little bit differently. The water situation of the past may not be the same as the future, and this is in a context of increasing population, changing ways in which we use water. So, I mean, I'm fairly confident that we can come up with solutions and use water and other natural resources in a better way.
Now, we also have something going for us that California does not. We actually have the summer monsoon storms that bring a lot of rain. Over in California, if they don't get precipitation during the winter, they are out of luck, and they really haven't seen anything for over a year. And again, we do share that Colorado River water with them. Time now to check in with our chief meteorologist, Kevin Jeans, about what's going on. Kevin, we have one more day of January. Any hope January is going to have us a little bit of rain?
You know, if we do, it's small enough to where I don't think we can even see it. The chances of rain very, very low. And I want to reiterate the map that Barbara illustrated for us and showed us. This is from the Drought Monitor. And so she said 36% of Arizona underneath a severe drought. But if you take all the areas that are at least abnormally dry or in any kind of drought at all, it's up to 68%. So we need rain, and it's just not in the forecast anytime soon, not enough at least. There's a small chance in the forecast of rain by next week, but boy, we need plenty of it, and we barely saw a trace in January. Temperatures now 77 in Tucson, 80 degrees is our high temperatures so far. And it looks like we're on the way down from there. Dew point numbers very low. That means it's still very dry at the surface. And winds have been the other story today. Winds have been out of the west and southwest, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. These are the wind gusts. They're over 20 miles per hour, even up to 30 miles per hour in Sierra Vista. So it's going to be breezy through the rest of this afternoon and this evening, and especially along I-10. Maybe some dust in the air, and that's where we bring in Lydia Camarillo, who is out live on I-10 right now. Lydia, what do you see right now?
Yeah, well, Kevin, we're here off Picacho Peak and I-10, and the winds were picking up earlier. Right now, it's not too bad, just a bit breezy here off I-10 and Picacho Peak. Now, the 2-mile stretch here near this area is one of the deadliest parts of I-10. The most recent crash that happened here caused by a dust storm killed 3 people, and that was back in October. You're taking a look at video from that crash. And in this situation, it was a dust storm no one saw coming. So you definitely need to keep this in mind if you're driving out in the area. You won't always see a big wall of dust coming your way. A lot of times they're isolated dust storms that can happen suddenly. Now that's why the Arizona Department of Transportation is expanding its dust storm awareness campaign. Starting this year, the department is launching a year-round campaign.
The Poolside Stay Alive campaign is going to be a huge shift for us. Previously, again, we would talk about it just during monsoon season, but the threat of dust storms is year-round, and drivers need to be prepared.
ADOT is planning to launch the campaign this April. With our drought conditions and the possibility of gusty winds, dust storms can happen easily. So make sure to take the proper precautions and stay alert on the road. We'll be live out here monitoring the situation and bring you the very latest. Reporting live near Picacho Peak, Lydia Camarillo, KOLD News 13, live local, late breaking.
All right, thank you so much, Lydia. Authorities in Atlanta are hoping that some slightly warmer temperatures will help melt the snow and ice on their highways. Traffic is moving again around Atlanta. Earlier this week, drivers were stranded inside their cars for at least a day. But officials are warning that ice-covered roads are still a threat. School districts, along with state and local government offices, remain closed today. Meanwhile, the governor of Georgia is taking the blame for the issues with the ice and snow. He says his state will come up with a new storm preparation plan. Now, for updates on any weather conditions, both here at home and across the country, remember to download the Tucson News Now weather app. It looks like this. It sends out weather warnings and alerts straight to your device, plus interactive radar and extended forecasts. Very helpful tool. Just search Tucson News Now, all one word, in your app store. Back here locally, the Department of Public Safety officers say that they believe they know the name of the man involved in a motorcycle accident last night. They're identifying him as 43-year-old Antonio Sutherland of Chandler. According to DPS, Sutherland was riding a motorcycle last night and was involved in an accident with a car. Police closed off the Marana Road exit of I-10 and eastbound lanes for nearly 5 hours. Authorities are still looking to talk to Sutherland. Developing out of Florida, police say that a man was shot and seriously injured on the Palm Bay campus of Eastern Florida State College. According to a police report, 2 men were beating up another man this afternoon. Then police say that man being attacked went to his car and grabbed a gun and shot one of his attackers in the chest. The victim and the shooter are now both in the hospital.
New at 5, the Arizona State University fraternity, whose members were seen at a controversial Martin Luther King Jr. party, now officially apologizing. As you might remember, members of the frat attended the party, some wearing offensive costumes. Well, today, the chapter releasing an apology to the public, saying in part, "We, the men of the fraternity, apologize for the offensive and racially insensitive conduct in which a few members of our chapter recently engaged. We recognize and regret that their inappropriate behavior embarrassed Arizona State University and the Tempe community." The president continues to speak to the American public about the economy and job training today.
What we have to tackle right now, what has driven me throughout my presidency and what will drive me until I wave goodbye, is making sure that we're restoring opportunity to every single person.
Today, the president traveling to a General Electric facility in the Milwaukee area. While there, he signed an executive order to create job training for in-demand jobs. That order will take effect next year at the earliest.
Happening tomorrow, Congressman Raul Grijalva will be joining public lands experts to talk about expanding Saguaro National Park. Grijalva will be joined by Oregon Representative Peter DeFazio to discuss a pending bill to expand the park. The two will visit the park and talk about desert landscaping conservation issues. A big announcement today, huge news here at KOLD News 13 particularly. We have learned who will be the Grand Marshal for this year's Tucson Rodeo Parade, and it is our very own Dan Mares. There he is. This year, we are celebrating the 89th year of the rodeo parade, and of course, you can catch all the action right here on KOLD on February 20th. And I don't think I've ever seen you smile bigger, Dan.
My mouth is still hurting, yes. And that's why I'm wearing a bolo tie. This is the official bolo tie that they give to the Grand Marshal. First time I've ever worn a bolo to anchor the news. But yeah, absolutely huge honor when you think about all the tradition that goes to the Tucson Rodeo Parade. Lute Olson's a past Grand Marshal, Seal Peterson, Gabby Giffords last year. So when I was looking at the wall today and just knowing that my picture's going to go up,
can you believe
you're
in that company?
No, I can't.
Wow.
It's just beyond words, and I'm just so excited and so happy. So I'm always looking forward to the rodeo parade, but this year to be up front and waving, and my family's going to come down. My mom's come from Colorado to ride.
Nice.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, while you're pinching yourself, I think nobody else is surprised. You really deserve this honor, Dan.
Thank you.
You really, truly are the Tucson Rodeo every year for us.
Thank you.
So, very cool, Dan. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Well, just ahead, did you get your flu shot? We'll tell you why you may still be at risk.
And kindness in the cold. How some people in the southeast are spreading a little warmth. We'll hear stories about people helped out during a rare winter storm.
I'm Dan Maurice.
And I'm Teresa Junn. Right now at TucsonNewsNow.com, a look at how the Wildcats took their 21st straight win last night against Stanford, undefeated. You're watching KOLD News 13 live at 5, live locally breaking.